because they put on the packaging that it's the #1 fruit snack, you know, in the U.S. Like the #1. It's Welsh. Yeah, sound effects of the Welsh little fruit snacks.
Here's
and
a tear.
Wow. Are we doing it at ASMR? Whatever bullshit crap that is?
Yeah. For a minute there we were. But go on. You said they're the #1 fruit snack?
Yeah, supposedly in the United States. And they claim that their first ingredient it is fruit. But
mine says fruit puree, which is the same thing.
Yeah, but then their next ingredient is corn syrup. You know, and you're like, well, you know, it's not the high fructose corn syrup or fructose, whatever the fuck that shit is. I don't care.
Right. You're good.
But anyway, I mean, it's still not good for... I mean, we're going to eat these anyway and finish the whole package. But while we're eating them, we're going to think about how unhealthy they are.
They're not really like... I mean, they are healthier than like the other fruit snacks, like fruit by the foot and fruit roll up and like...
Oh, right. For sure. Yes.
But I
agreed.
actually I like those better. I used to buy fruit roll ups for myself. Like for me.
Just for yourself. You wouldn't even share them.
Well, I didn't live with anybody. But
right.
I mean, I did buy fruit snacks when I lived with the ex who sucks. And he would eat them a lot too. And we would try to keep it even between the two of us. Like, you know. And I would buy like a lot more. Like I buy like a 12-pack instead of a 6-pack, you know. So that I can eat like 6 of them. Instead of 3, which is just sad. Not enough. 3 fruit by the foots. No.
No, I know. I mean, to be honest, like you kind of have a good point. They're probably like the best. They're probably like the best fruit snack. They're still not the healthiest, but they're like the one that's the least bad for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't know if that's true. There might be others. I bought for a while there. I was buying these fruit snacks that were for babies, but they were like really, really expensive. But they were legit like there's nothing shitty in them. Like it was like, you know, it's because I mean baby food is really just pureed vegetable, like legitimately. Like they don't add other shit into it. Some baby foods they do, but like when I was really, really sick, my doctor said like just eat baby food. And I was like, oh, okay. Because like my body didn't want to like accept anything. And the baby food is just so basic that it's okay.
Right. Are we not going to notice the cat on my shoulders at all?
The cat on your shoulder is gorgeous, but they can't hear it.
No, they can't. But she's got like her hand against my neck currently, and it's like either my neck or her hand has to make a decision. All right. Can we make a compromise? I'm going to put you down.
Oh, is her whole tummy white? That's so cute.
I know she has a white little tummy. Mm-hmm.
A white underbelly.
And she lets me touch her tummy, which is amazing. Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
I touched Louie's tummy. There's Louie.
With his little white spot.
I get to actually stay home from work tomorrow.
Yay.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Well, I work tomorrow. Technically, tomorrow's my Monday.
Wow. Okay, yeah. What started out as a fruit snack commercial has now talked to us now about us talking about our schedules.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really fucking care what we're talking about. I mean, I was kind of like curious about those fruit things because I went to Target today. I told you this. I went to pick up. All right, I kind of made a little post on Instagram, but I got a brand new game controller, and it is Yoshi themed.
Oh, yeah.
And it's green. So I think you know this. You know I have a 3DS XL Yoshi edition?
No, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, so I have one of them. I like... As a kid, I always loved Yoshi because he was green. And my favorite color is green. So as an adult, that still loves Mario and Nintendo, I love Yoshi because he's green. So I buy everything that's Nintendo that's green and Yoshi.
Yeah, you're like, if I buy Nintendo stuff, I buy Yoshi.
Yoshi or Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
I like their color themes too.
Can you hear me okay? Because I have I have no squiggles, and you have like a lot of big squiggles.
Well, it's because primarily it's because of my voice compared to your voice. But trust me, the technology on this thing is really good. Where it'll equal. I'm not even high yet. How the fuck am I slurring words?
Like, look at how little my squiggles are. Like, what is that?
Does it really fucking matter how big the squiggles are?
I'm worried.
I mean, because I can hear you perfectly fine.
Okay. I don't know. I guess to me, the squiggles felt kind of like a competition, and I'm losing the squiggle competition.
Oh my god! Did you think like this podcast turned into like a battle sequence or something?
Yeah, you're better than me. I've been trying to get to your level, and it's just,
I just have a deeper voice than you do.
So it's the deepness. If I talk deeper, will my squiggles get bigger?
Probably not. I don't know. Maybe it's
the same.
I don't know.
It's like my pulse. Like my pulse is just like weak. Like
I get it. 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 Your pulses will always be lower than mine.
I don't know. I have low blood pressure.
Whoa. Can you imagine that? Being like, I got low blood pressure, so you don't touch me.
I think
you don't touch me real good.
Every 5 minutes, I'll just bring the conversation back to fruit snacks again.
Right. Even though I only brought one package with me.
I brought 3. 4.
Jeez Louise.
I brought 4 packs.
Okay, honey, before you jump off, please don't hit the wires. Come here. 1 sec.
I'm on pack 3. This right here in my hand is pack 3. And like, to defend myself, the first one was like a mini pack.
They're all mini packs.
No. This one was like an extra mini pack. Like, see the size difference there?
Honey, you're in the hardcore level of fruit snacks, like the elite class that knows their fruit snacks. Like, I can't even compete with your level of like knowledge and expertise on the fruit snacks to your degree.
I should share some of my fruit snack knowledge.
I mean, there was a moment where you're like, well, hello. You remember that moment where we were talking about the biscuit lady? And you at random was like, oh yeah, I watched the entire video. And I'm like,
eat the biscuit.
You actually did research? Holy shit.
Yeah, I got into it.
Damn.
I was like, what happened?
I wanted to know what happened. I did actually watch the video after you told me that, and I was I was so flabbergasted. I was so flabbergasted on levels you have no idea. I was so stoned and so high, and I could barely get to like the 2-minute marker.
Taste the biscuit.
No, don't. No, please. I've had nightmares. No.
I don't know the rest of the words.
I don't know either. All I know is in a Goodwill somewhere in Indiana. I don't know what state. Probably I'm making this shit up.
No, Indiana is one of the few states that's worse than where I live.
Really?
Yeah, there is a place that's worse than here.
Out of all the places that I can think that are the worst, first one comes to mind. Okay, you are not smoking a joint. Excuse me.
For me, I think that living in Alabama would suck. I'm sorry.
I don't know.
It might be. I could make the best of it.
Probably. I was thinking Kansas. Like, Kansas just sounds like it sucks. Because, like, what's there to do in Kansas? It's all fucking farmlands and, like, rich douchebags that own cars and, like, post those videos on YouTube. You know, and they're like big car enthusiasts. Like, seriously, like all the big car enthusiasts are all from fucking Kansas. It's like, holy shit, are you people that bored that you need to like have fucking 4 garages just full of cars because you're so fucking bored of Kansas?
They're always like rebuilding stuff. I think it's like a.
I'm being an ass.
Was interested in it.
Yeah.
You know, so they're interested.
Because there's nothing else to do in Kansas. Except
cars.
look at tomatoes.
Well, I went to Kansas because my brother-in-law's from Kansas, so my sister and him took me to Kansas to go visit his family, and he's got a sister and a cousin, or
In
kind of like
Kansas. If
two
say it one more time
sisters
for the algorithm.
in Kansas.
And Kansas.
And I went
Kansas.
and I hung out with his sister, and she drove me around in Kansas. And she was like in high school, and
In Kansas.
I wasn't quite in high school yet. I think I was in like
In
7th or
Iowa.
8th grade. Yeah, in Iowa. And she was older than me and like had a car and stuff. So it was kind of cool to
In
like go
Kansas.
hang out with her. But they literally had nothing to do. Like they would just like drive their cars like
In
to the
Kansas.
same place, and they would just be like, "Hey, yeah, let's all meet up in this parking lot." And they all
In
drive their
Kansas.
cars to a parking lot. Yeah. This all no, there's nothing that's changed here. They'd all drive their cars to like a parking lot, and then they just like hang out there.
In
But
Kansas.
after they hung out there for a while, they like we did sneak into a public pool and go swimming, and that
You're
was
gonna
really
hate me.
fun in Kansas.
In
And
Kansas.
then they took us to this like water park that was called the Watering Hole. And
The
this
the
was
what?
it was called the Watering Hole,
Oh dear
like
God.
a freaking country type thing,
Oh
the
dear
Watering
God.
Hole.
That sounds
And
terrible.
I have to tell you, it was one of the best water parks I've ever been to.
It's called the
Like
water. It's called the water hole.
Watering Hole,
Not water hole. It's called watering hole.
a hole that people get in that has water, but
Okay.
it's like an old term, and I think that that's like what country people used to do is like they go down to the watering hole,
Oh
and it's
yeah, to
like
get their dicks real cleaned and their asses, real
I have no
scrubbed.
idea. It was mostly because it's hot outside and like you need relief from the heat. But this place was freaking awesome. Like they had like cliff diving. So you could like run and just like free jump off of this like cliff. It was amazing. Like I've never had anything like that at a water park. Like it's always like slides and like wave pools and shit like that, but the run and jump off the cliff was so much fun. Like I was terrified to do it. And then I was like, you know what? If I don't do it, I'm going to regret it. And it was so much fun to just like run and just like fall like
You
that.
just sounded like a government state board member of Kansas. That like gets like the survey videos of we love Kansas and then like fucking puts it up on their website. Like, honey, you can be one of those people be like, Kansas is awesome.
Dude,
Go.
no. It was just that one water park.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know. Like yeah, it's boring, but like I mean the water park wasn't boring, but like Kansas was boring, but it was also kind of like beautiful how like laid back and simple it is. Like you could really see the stars there. The kids like seem to be pretty like calm. Like they don't get like, like nervous and worked up and like, Katie got good grades, so did Kenny, like they had pretty regular upbringings. Like they didn't have a whole bunch of like fancy shit, and there's a lot of good stuff about people growing up in Kansas. Kenny,
The Wizard of Oz.
yeah, Kenny's like a really good guy. He has like really good family values and like knows how to care about people and stuff. Like I think that there's like a lot of like compassion in people from Kansas, but I don't really know. There's probably a lot of racism in different areas too. So it's like you say both about the people of Kansas. I'm sure there's a lot of different minorities that live in different areas of Kansas too.
I love where this conversation is going, by the way. It's absolutely fun. Because whoever talks about Kansas, or talks about Iowa, or talks about Nebraska, I mean, come on, like, to be honest, like, how many people
No
actually
one
care
gives a
about this?
fuck.
No one gives a fuck. No one gives a flying
Yeah,
fuck.
it's just like no one gives a fuck about the Midwest, but it's like the world. We all know how different the country is from state to state.
You don't have to tell me twice.
And you can't really like ignore that like all those things make up America. Like, as much as we want to say like New York City and LA is like, it's like you can't ignore that that's also part of America.
It's also understanding that culture has a key marker and a player on people, because when you live in an environment that is busy, there's millions of people around you, things are open until like 5 a.m. in the morning. I mean, you could do anything and everything you want whenever. I mean, New York is at your fingertips. However, there's always going to be limitations, and complete opposite if you deal with somebody that's from like the Midwest or upstate or, more farmland or country. Their understanding of having things at their grasp whenever they want is hard to understand because they're very used to having a very limited lifestyle, based just to the weather conditions, work environment, culture, and so on. I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into play, but you can see how each of those sides, still very different, still have their obstacles and limits.
Yeah, I just know quite a lot about everything that you just explained. Like firsthand.
Was that a little bit too
I'm
much
like
in depth
I
or
started like
detail?
thinking and I was like, "Oh, I don't feel so good." Yeah.
Damn. Well, I mean, I haven't started smoking marijuana yet, which is
I'm so jealous. I have that joint that you sent me. I wish I could spark it up.
and I want to tell you, all I want to do is mush this cat's cheeks. She loves when I rub them. She likes to get little rubs. She likes try to think of it as like little like face massages.
Hmm.
But anyway, going back to the point that we were talking about. Too much, too detailed, too specific, too heavy for the podcast.
I think
Too
yeah, I should probably get away from talking about all the things that suck, like how
I wasn't
hard it
talking about things that
is.
suck. I was talking about the fact that like
I was a hard environment to live in. Like recently, it's really kicked my ass. Like it, it's honestly just like draining. It kind of makes everything like take longer, and everything takes like extra work. I feel like my body, has been like really sore, and the cold kind of like makes that suck. It's kind of hard, like all these like coats and boots, and I have to like change out my shoes when I get to work, and like it's just like a lot of extra stuff to think about. Like I can't just like drive. I have to like drive safely, like in the snow. I
well,
can't just like drive home.
it
Just like worry the entire time. Which
yeah.
I don't know. It's just like Iowa summer is gonna be really great. That's all I tell myself. I'm like, it'll be fine. Like whenever it's not winter, everything will be fine. Right?
I do feel you're right. Weather conditions can definitely have an effect on a person, mentally and physically. And I think also to keep in mind, there's a way of like having that ability of looking towards like the summer, or a time where it can be a little bit more manageable and tolerable. So you can have that effect on yourself, instead of focusing on, the condition now, you have something to look forward to, even though it's not present.
Yeah. I'm still just kind of thinking like, I don't know that I always want to live here. And then so then I think to myself like, yeah, I probably should really like wait and think all that over before I
You
buy
should.
property.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's just
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I understand all the people who moved to Austin, Texas, definitely beats the cold, but I know it's like hot as fuck down there.
You get 110 degrees in the summer.
It was 110 degrees in LA, like, from time to time in the summer. But what happens down in Austin, Texas is like way crazier. Are we talking about weather? God damn it.
Why are we talking about weather? We sound like a bunch of old people, you know, when they have nothing to talk about. Like, hey, Sonny, did you know it's 89 degrees outside today?
Because it's been really tough. Like, I have to lug around like 2 sets of keys because I'm driving my mom's car because my car can't really drive in the snow very well. And it's just like, trying to remember one set of keys is like enough. I don't know. Tell me about your joint. How's that going?
Oh boy. Well, it's just regular old weed. It's a hybrid mix. I'm using a Blazing Susan paper.
Ooh.
Very smooth, very clean. And if you probably can't tell, I've been high since 9:35 a.m. So this has been a nice buzz. I'm enjoying it.
How was your weekend?
So we've discussed this, and I can't discuss this too much on the podcast, but I have been having difficulties at work. You know,
Oh,
being the
yeah,
fact that
yeah.
being the fact like I manage the kitchen and I'm the one that handles it at the brewery. And I got to a breaking point on Saturday because I know this is going to sound very cryptic. It's hard to discuss. Basically, no names mentioned. I felt like I was being micromanaged by somebody that I worked with. I felt that I was not being respected, and it bothered me terribly. And the way that I handled it was I did not communicate with the person, and I kept a professional boundary. You know, it was a very heavy rush because I told you this. We had a band that came that night. And the thing is, there were just a bunch of teenagers. Okay. When I say teenagers, okay, acne, dick's never been sucked, never been put in a vagina. Okay. Like, they all look like douchebags to the point they bring all their friends that are all under 21. Might I add, like, I work in a brewery. Okay. So they can't order beer, right? They ordered food. So the kitchen was slammed. Like, we had orders through the fucking wazoo. And like, I was being micromanaged. Andreas was being micromanaged, which is my boss. And it was just very stressful. Super stressful. And I got out of there. It was kind of funny because that night, you know, I finished my shift like around like 12. And then I had my guitar with me. And then Andres, my boss, he's like, Dave, bring the guitar. I was like, all right, cool, man, no worries. So I bring him my guitar, and he starts playing. And then there's this drunk couple that comes in there. This girl is all over Andres. Like, keep in mind, Stephanie, his wife, is in the bar. So, like, you know, it's an L shape. And, like, Stephanie's, like, here, you know, and she's, like, you know, at the side. And, like, you know, he's like, anyway, point was they, like, finally left. And Andres was like, he let me play, like, just, like, one or two songs, like, not even. Like, I barely was able to touch my guitar. But we did like a Beatles duet together. So I like literally did a Beatles duet with my boss at like 1:35 a.m.
That's good.
in the morning. Yeah. Sorry I went on tangents for like a minute. But
I like listening to you talk.
yeah. But anyway, I think it was an eye-opening weekend for me and my boss. So, and for some people. But anyway, no comments, nothing to elaborate on. No point of
yeah, you're like, God damn it, Karissa.
like something, you know, like I'm a fucking duck in the water over here. Like, I'm great at podcasting certain degree, but you got to give me something, okay? I need something to work with.
Oh my god, you could just tell. I'm like, I told you I was like, I'm in a really bad place today. Like,
Doesn't fucking matter.
No, I mean, it's just
bring
like,
that anger, honey. Bring that shit here. I want you to be angry. I want you to like take
there's
all that.
nothing angry story about how you had a wonderful weekend. You did. You had a great weekend. You and your
Wow.
boss like collabed on some music. You got a good work environment. I can't wait till I got a good work environment. I can like hang out with my bosses and like have fun and like enjoy life. Like I don't know. That's just yeah, I'm jealous. I don't know. I'm thinking I don't like how my life is going right now, and so I constantly kind of like think of like how I can get myself out of it. Like how I can fix it, what I can do. And especially like when I hear you talk about like what a great time you're having, I'm like, "Oh shit. Like I gotta get myself out of this shit
Okay,
that
let
I'm in."
me let me be real with you. Having a boss like Andres is rare because Andres is not like your typical type of boss. He is a filmmaker and he's an artist. So, like with that being said, he can respect another artist. But generally, most of the time, like the bosses that you're dealing with are not that. Wow, I just shattered like a fucking 7-story building, like to the ground.
It's true though.
It is.
I've had a lot of different bosses.
I'd bring him on the podcast.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It would be really it would be an experience for sure.
Louis dropped his bone.
For a second there, if you would have ended it with ER,
No, he's a dog. He has bones.
right? But E okay,
Weirdo.
bone
Yeah, I
ER.
know.
But
Yeah, I know. You're just thinking of boners, but like he's a dog, so like a bone makes more sense than a boner. So
yeah, but
you was like thinking that I was talking about boners. This is unlikely because I'm talking, but dogs do get a lot of boners. It's crazy.
they are what they
Ooh,
are.
dropped his bone again.
Again.
Again, he dropped it again. It's the
Oh my
second time.
god.
I almost think if he does it again, he's just like throwing it on the floor.
On purpose.
Yeah. I don't know. I've had a lot of different bosses. I feel like they're all terrible.
Wow. That's nice.
I feel like my one boss that I had at Ulta, I can't remember her name. She's one of my very first bosses. She's fine. There's nothing that I can really say about her. Well, I mean, the lady that I nannied for was okay. You know, I liked her a lot. There's some weird difficulties there, but like for the most part, I really really liked her more than any of the like challenges. But I did feel like I kind of had to like dance around a little bit. I don't know if anybody understands what that means, but I do. I don't know. I had this crazy woman that I worked for. She was Russian. That doesn't make her crazy, but she was.
Was she real Russian? Like
Yeah.
real Russian woman from
Well, I
Moscow?
think her dad was. I think she's born here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but she's a bitch, fake ass bitch. Her name's Regina. I don't have any problem.
Was she a communist?
I don't know about that. But she was fucking awful. She's one of the worst ever. And then after her, I kind of was like, bosses suck, you know? And then it was like nobody could really top her either. Like, but she was the one that kind of like changed my mind. Like, I was like, damn. I was like, working for people is really weird. I had that one lady that was supposed to be my boss at the salon. I went and like did an interview with her, and she asked me to do her Brazilian during the interview, and I was like, I can't believe this. I don't know. I just thought like that can't be a good sign. Like that your own boss, wants you to do like a service for her like during the interview. Like I just feel like she's just like making you do shit for free. And also it's just like way too like personal.
Okay.
like do
Okay.
your boss's
Okay. First of
Brazilian.
all, hi person here, stone person. Slow down. Okay.
I've had a weird
All right.
life, David.
Okay. Now, let's look at this situation very carefully for a second, okay? Your boss, or soon to be boss, asks for her vagina to be waxed, okay?
During my interview with like
During
no
an interview.
notice.
So it's like, random lady you're possibly going to hire for future clients is like, "Hello, look at my vagina first and we'll see if we can hire you." It's like, do I have to like lick it? Do I have to like
No.
suck? Or
She
like
wanted a bikini wax, which like I did it. And it was just like, I don't know. Afterwards, I was just thinking to myself, like, I don't think this is going to be like the type of business owner that I want to work for. And like what I ran into is like, where bosses just don't understand what their the inner workings of the things that they ask people to do. And there are some bosses who do know and do understand because I have seen it before. But like,
that's what I was saying is because Andres is he's an artistic person. It's like in that in itself makes him a completely different type of boss. He doesn't just treat me as like an employee. Like we work together as like team members. So, like we're a member, like each one of us are a member of this project called Black Flamingo. So it's just a whole different. And again, I know this sounds like, like the fucking movies. It's not. Sometimes bosses don't have to be perfect. Some bosses can be like complete dulls. But I feel like there is a way of getting into a groove, where you can kind of get that common balance. To be honest, like this is my very first managerial position I've ever had in my life. And I'm 25. So I think that's an accomplishment. Yay.
no, I think it's a really good thing. Did I wear my Hello Kitty onesie last episode?
I don't remember, and I'm too tired to look or check.
But have you seen it before?
I have.
So maybe I have worn it for an episode before.
Have you seen this ensemble before?
I don't know, but I don't want people to think that I wear this all the time.
You probably don't. But we secretly
I
know that you
wish I
do all the
could.
time. No, we know we see. Listen, honey,
I'm
we know.
not at home enough to wear it.
Like
I'm not
like
even here.
like secretly like hide it in one of the gowns. It's like you just
Put
like
it on when no one's around.
yes. You have like that one closet that like nobody ever checks. You just like slip out that Hello Kitty onesie like out of that gown. Like just like slowly like creep up, go into that closet, like close the door.
I never thought of hiding things inside of the dresses.
I mean, they're so fucking big, honey. You can like hide crack cocaine, onesies, vials, toys, mushrooms, bandages, just normal shit.
I know. There's something on my mind that like I should have told you about it before we podcasted because like
What?
I don't know. It's
What?
just like it's very like mind consuming, but
What's mind consuming?
just this like terrible client that I had at work.
Ooh, this is gonna be the pod clip. This is gonna be the pod clip. Woo!
No.
Woo! Woo!
I'm sure I'm not supposed to like talk about it.
Then don't.
Okay, but I'm just saying like sometimes like I catch myself like thinking about it because it was like so difficult,
All I can say,
My job's been really hard.
Mine hasn't been easy either.
Yeah.
It's kind of like strange because we're in a period right now where it's like I feel it's like everything is getting more expensive and more difficult to access. But at the same time, I'm still like there's like almost like a thirst for just something that like gives me a drive of anything, like adrenaline, or like the fucking, I don't know, an Adderall or
More
whatever.
stimulation.
Yeah, just something.
Yeah.
And
I really want candy. Like that's why when
I want candy.
you brought up fruit snacks, I was like, oh yeah, that'll do. Like I want
Dang.
candy, but I was like, I can do fruit snack.
It's like the one thing that I will spend the $3 on because they're $2.99 in Target. I remember when they were $1.99.
What, the fruit snacks?
Mm-hmm.
The Welch's?
Yeah, they used to be $1.99 and now they're $2.99.
One time I bought like a big ass box because it was like such a good deal. I was like, holy shit, I'll have fruit snacks for like months. And then I got it home and they were all like brick hard. And it was so disappointing.
That's the emoji, like immediately. You know the one with like the super frown face?
I mean, they were hard. Like, and I thought I could kind of ignore it. Like, I was like, oh, whatever. Like, let's not be prissy about how soft they are. No, they were hard. Like,
It's like they were like the last box that they forgot in like 2005.
it was bad.
Yeah,
I was like, what happened?
I remember, so this is a funny story. I remember going into a grocery store. I don't remember where this was. I think this was, oh, I remember. This is when I was traveling from New York to Florida. Okay. So I stopped by this gas station. Looks like a normal Shell, whatever. And I remember going in there, and there was a section of the store, and there was just like a couple of items there, and there was like this box of cereal. And it had like the Frosty, like the Tiger. Like it had like the old one, like from like years and years ago. And I was like, I looked at it. That box was from like 1998.
Whoa. What was
And
it doing there?
I don't know. I was like, this is 2021.
What the fuck?
So it's like, you got a over 20-year-old box of cereal. Honey, like the box looked brand new.
What's it
Except
doing there?
it was just like faded. I don't know. It's just, you remember, like it was like the small little, like a small little box, like the one serving.
Yeah, mini boxes, like the little
Mm-hmm.
like, and it was one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure it wasn't like some type of like throwback? How'd you? Is there something printed on the box that really said the date?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. The other
Well,
night, me and
it said best. I remember it just said.
oh yeah, the date that says when you should eat it, and it was like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
What the fuck? That's are you just making shit up?
No, I'm being serious, and I remember this because, and I've had wild experience like this before. So basically, like it was faded. Okay, this happens when you have like sun over the years just pouring in through the glass. Okay, so I'll give you an example. I went to a bar a few
Oh,
weeks
I know.
ago with a few friends. There was, okay, you're gonna love this. There was a pharmacy that's right next to this bar. Okay, this pharmacy has like cards and like balloons and shit that's all faded. Like seriously looks like it's like 20 years old. Okay.
Mm.
The back of this pharmacy is like practically empty. Like there's barely anything in that place. And according to one of the guys that like lives in the area, they've had that place like that like for years. So like I'm thinking immediately, I'm like, drugs.
Oh, what? It's like a fake business? Like they
It's a
just don't.
front.
I mean, sometimes it'd be exciting if things were fronts, but like the truth is, it's just like some old dirty place that nobody takes care of.
Possibly. And maybe that's possibly the case with that box of cereal.
My fucking microphone. At least it's not like falling over, because I'd flip the fuck out.
Yeah, you would hear Karissa say a lot of curse words that She can say very quickly,
Yeah.
altogether.
Remember last episode I like broke the fuck barrier.
I think we've crossed the fuck barrier many, many times in this podcast.
But I like intentionally was like fucking with it. Like I was like ha ha ha.
I
Like
mean, we can get a fuck meter. We can definitely have a score
ding
or a
ding ding
count,
ding ding.
of like
Yeah.
how many fucks can give a fuck to the fuck where the fuck is going to be the fuck.
Well, I
So
was gonna
fuck.
tell you that Brett got his like I don't even know. He doesn't have Netflix anymore.
What do you mean he
And
doesn't have Netflix
he
anymore?
doesn't have Netflix anymore. Now he does, but this was like last week or something. He didn't have any Netflix. But he didn't tell me that he didn't have any Netflix. He told me eventually. But like we were sitting there and I didn't really like notice
Sorry to
like
cut
for
you off. Just for audience reference,
I know.
Brett looks like a younger version of Kevin Bacon. Go on. That is a contract worker. Go on. No, construction worker. Sorry. Go on.
I don't know. Yeah, kind of. I mean, sure. Okay.
Okay,
These are
let's
both a
just.
little off, but I think that they're not too far
Okay,
off.
young or old? I asked you, and you said young Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, young Kevin Bacon.
Okay, so young Kevin Bacon. All right.
Is
All right, I
good
want to hear the
enough.
story. Yes.
He just like I didn't really notice that he didn't have Netflix or like whatever. But like for like 3 nights that I came over, we were watching like just like basic cable and I didn't really know why. Like one night we will just watch like HGTV that was like just kind of like okay. And it was like these people like looking for houses or whatever. And there's this like place in Georgia where people were like looking for houses and it's like a really prominent like area or something and it's called like Bucket. I mean no. It's called the neighborhood is called Buckhead. You know, like a deer, Buckhead. But when they talk about the neighborhood on the HGTV show, it sounds like Bucket. And they are like, and apparently, like, Buckhead is like a really special, like, prissy, it's like Scottsdale, Arizona. Yes, it's like where a lot of that happens. And like, so she's like, "Oh, I really wish that I could have a house in North Buckhead." And like all I heard was like, "I want a house in North Bucket." And I was like, "North Bucket? What the fuck is that?" Like I was like everybody's dream takes place in Bucket. So it's become like a inside joke that I'm working really hard to afford a house in North Bucket.
Oh god. Well, I would love to live in the central bucket because in the central bucket is probably better.
South Bucket is a little bit more affordable.
But the west bucket is way too boosh. And don't get
Oh,
me started
whatever.
with the east bucket, okay? East bucket is just another
No,
level.
North
No.
Bucket is the worst. I mean, North Bucket is the most expensive. Like, it's the bougiest, is North Bucket.
I was
East and
totally joking,
West.
but I'm like now realizing you're being serious.
I'm serious. These people are like they're serious about their Buckhead. It was really funny. I came home and I told my mom the joke about Buckhead, and she was like, "Oh, I've heard of Buckhead. It's really nice. Like property there is like really like expensive." And I was like she didn't even laugh at like the bucket thing. And I was like, "God, what the fuck?" She's under the like Buckhead like spell where everybody's like, "I need a house in Buckhead."
I think one of my speaking of HGTV, one of my favorite TV shows is the ones where they go to families that their like house needs fixing up, and like these are like moms and dads that are like
Oh yeah,
worked to
yeah.
the bone, and it's like it's just a nice thing to help them like just fix up their house, like give their kids just a little bit. It's just so awesome, and then like they bring the parents along to like do something, they'll bring like the kids to do like a project, to like be a part of like the whole process. I know it's TV and a lot of it's fake and stuff, but that's a kind of a fun part of HGTV because you're like, okay, It's like this is just like kind of like a normal people, just like kind of living normal lives that are just trying to have a nice house. It's their
We watched this
property.
like tiny home thing for a minute. Like they like moved this like couple
I hate
into a
those.
tiny home.
I hate those. They're
Oh, it
so
was so sad. I was like, these poor people. Like, there's not enough room in here, and like,
it's
I don't know. That
horrible.
one was not good.
It's horrendous. A tiny home. Okay, look. I'm gonna be honest with you. Tiny homes are not practical. Okay, they're just not.
It could maybe work for someone for a period of time, you know? Like, I'll give it that. But yeah, it's not like these people had 3 dogs, okay? They don't need to live in a fucking tiny home. Like, unless they have like an acre for the dogs to run and the weather's perfect all the time. Like, I just think tiny home with dogs is just not a good idea. They were like, here's a dog bed. And it was like, you have 3 fucking dogs. Like, what? You need more than one dog
You
bed?
you know I told you this, and this is the thing I love about out here in Florida. You know the best type of house is? It's one floor, and it's long. It's just long, you know?
Yeah, a
And
ranch style.
yeah,
I
and
like
the
that
thing is,
shit.
you don't need it to be like super wide. That's the thing about a house is like you can have it be a bit narrow, and you can still have plenty of space. Still have plenty of space to put everything that you need and everything that you want. It's just like there's just this impracticality that just comes to play. It's like, look, I get it. You love nature and you care about the earth, but you need a stable place to live. It's not it's not practical. It isn't. It's not a practical way of living.
I don't know. I know people live in boats, so who am I to say
I
like
understand that, but
tiny
again,
house?
those are particular type of people. You know what I mean? Those are the type of people that's what they like.
Well, I think that exists with tiny homes too. Like there are
Yeah,
some people where it's an
but
okay decision,
true.
but there's a lot of people that do it that shouldn't be.
Right, but to the point of the TV show, it's like pushing this idea on people like this is the go-to way. Like they started building tiny home communities in Texas where they charge like $140,000 for these tiny homes that like are so fucking narrow. So
No.
it's
That's not
terrible.
okay. Like I think tiny homes should be given away to people who have no homes. Not we should start charging real prices for tiny homes. That's fucked up. No one should make tiny homes if that's what they're going to start doing. I don't know. Let's all vote to ban tiny homes so that that's not the only thing we can afford these days.
Not to get depressing, but the thing about
Not
homeless,
to get depressing.
nah, the thing about
I Go
okay,
on.
can I just? I'm stoned and I want to talk
Yeah,
about it.
yeah, I do too. I'm just saying like fuck, let's not be so afraid of the dark shit that is life. Okay, go on.
When you're dealing with homelessness, a lot of the problem that comes with it, from my view, is community and mental health. People, a lot of the times, will come from very bad neighborhoods, very bad homes,
Mhm.
and they've never had a stable home, so they don't really know what to strive for, and they end up on the streets.
Yeah.
And you have people that have mental health issues that use drugs or substances during a crisis, a loss, losing their job, whatever have you. There really isn't a way to fix it. And it's kind of strange, like, we're
Yeah.
housing. Think about this for a second. We're dealing with a housing crisis. How is that possible? How's it possible that we as a country that have so much land are dealing with a housing crisis? Doesn't make sense.
It's because the houses cost so much.
Why?
Yeah, I know. Well, we know why, because everything's been like driven up.
Because they can.
Yeah. I mean, I used to know some real answers about shit like that, and then I kind of started like blocking it out because it would make me upset. Like I feel like in when I was around like 28, I kind of stopped like looking so deeply into topics like that because it would really make me feel
It's not okay.
upset because I
You're
felt so like I powerless. So that's kind of why I avoid stuff like that because
you're
it
missing the
has a strong effect on me.
you're missing the point. It's not about the problem itself. It's understanding that as human beings, one of the things that we've been able to survive was shelter, a food source, and communities, tribes, whatever have you. That's how we've been able to survive for the hundreds and thousands of years that we've gotten to this point. The thing that I realize as a person, the way that I'm able to survive is being around people, having a shelter, and being able to have access to food sources, whether that be, a grocery store or whatever. But what I'm trying to get at is it's strange that we have gotten to that type of predicament where somebody can be in a point of mental health that that's it. They have there's no pillars, there's no protection, there's no strategy, there's no plan A, B, or C. Nothing.
Nope. I mean, at this point in my life, I'm kind of like overloaded mentally. So it's kind of hard for me to sit here and talk about other people's problems.
It's not necessarily talking about other people's problems. It's looking at it's looking at that perspective. It's understanding that when you have those pillars, you're able to keep yourself in a mental balance. You're able to keep yourself in that flow state because you don't have to worry about those problems
Oh, I've definitely been on the other side, like a
for sure.
lot. Yeah, that's usually where I am in that description of things that should make you homeless. But I've always avoided, I've never been homeless in my life.
Only once.
No.
No, for me, it's only been once.
How long did it last?
6 months.
Damn. Were you like sleeping on a couch?
Yeah, kind of that situation.
Yeah. Well, you want to tell me about it?
No, not really.
Yeah. Well, I could tell you that the other thing that me and Brett watched on basic cable and when I like and I still didn't put it together that he didn't have Netflix until the next time that I came over,
Oh
but
my god, now I remember what we were talking about. We were talking about, wow, this went way down the roller coaster. We're talking about bread and Netflix.
and so
Damn.
I was saying that we watched HGTV and the fucking tiny homes and like there's your recap of what we just talked about.
Right.
But we were flipping through the channels and we found The Price is Right.
Oh,
And it's like
nice.
there's this channel that just plays The Price is Right 24/7. So it just plays reruns of The Price is Right, and that's just a channel on basic cable.
Okay.
So we were watching The Price is Right, and it never ended, and so it was like, well, it's just ongoing, like The Price is Right, and then we like looked at it, we are like, oh wow, it is like it never ends. It's a channel of, you know, want to say it?
Uh, uh, what? Reruns?
Yeah. So
Eh,
we were watching it, and it's all like old reruns, and so we were trying to guess the year, and like with no indication whatsoever, and knowing that there's such a giant time span, and it's always the Bob Barker episodes.
Well, you could probably tell by the color of his hair. I mean, the darker it is,
Yeah.
it's probably the early 80s. If it's
Yeah.
lighter, it's probably like the mid 90s. If it's really light, it's probably like the 2000s. It's complete.
Well, it goes back like before the 80s. Like, so it was kind of hard to tell, like, wait a second, is this after the 80s or before the 80s? And it was before the 80s.
They
Like, and
played
it
70s
was really
episodes?
fun. The one that I saw was from, well, they had one that was earlier than the one that we saw. I guess I saw that one too, if we saw it. And so the one that I'm talking about, I guessed was either 1982 or 1984. And it was like, how are we ever going to find out, you know? And I had told him, and we were both kind of like, shit, like, I really want to know what year it is, you know? And you're like watching them jump around, you're like looking for clues. And I was like, oh shit, like when they give away a car, maybe they'll say, you know, like 1982, you know, blah, 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 blah. And so we waited, we were like watching it, anticipating when they would give a car away. And all of a sudden they like go to give a car away, and both of us are like, you know, like they didn't fucking say it. Like they did not say it.
What do they say?
They just said the car, but they never said the year of it. They were just like, and we're gonna give you away a blah 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 blah
What was the
car.
car?
I don't remember, but it was amazing. Like you would love it. You'd be like, "Oh!" And it was a great car. Like I was like, "Oh shit!" Like that, you know, that's a classic. But
Was it a Chevy? Ford?
I don't know, man. Could have been a Volkswagen. Could have been anything. Could have been a Mercedes.
Damn it! I should have been there. Yeah, go on.
You've got to watch this ongoing. The Price is Right.
I'm not
All
coming
the
to Iowa,
episodes from the
but
80s.
uh-huh.
No, what's funny is that sound where it's like they have all those games, you know?
Wait a minute, so you never found out the year of the episodes?
Okay, so like a couple nights later, Brett was at home like watching it by himself. And like they gave away a snowblower. And they were like a 1982 snowblower. And he was like, "Oh shit." Like cuz he like wasn't really waiting for it, but it was like, why would they tell you the year of the snowblower? Like that is so strange. And
It
why
was a
would they
manly time. It was a very manly time to be a man. That like you got a new snowblower every year, you know? It's like, "Hey Charles, what? I got an 84 snowblower. What? Got an 84 snowblower. I got an 83 snowblower. I got an upgrade." There you go.
It's like, is that real? Like, yeah, it was funny. So The Price is Right was fun.
One of my favorite
changed the song.
Price is Right episodes, I believe, was in 1978. There was a guy that came on, and he not only got like 4 or 5 of the puzzles correct, but he did that after just like getting the vowels. It was insane. He like got the vowels, and then he's like, you know, days straight to night. And then he's like, let's check. And that's correct. Ding-ding-ding-ding. And I was like 4 or 5 times. I was like, holy shit.
Somebody told him. He's got like a friend that works there.
Yeah, it was the 70s. Like, he's definitely like one of those pimps that's got like a Cadillac DeVille, you know, one of those huge yachts. You know, drives up to the, you know, the film company. He's like, yo, get Marty out here. And they bring Marty.
There were episodes where they would have the women like reach, like Bob Barker would be like, "Oh, here's an extra $100 for you," and he's like, "Just reach into my pocket." And like, I never saw any of the men like win an extra $100 that was placed in Bob Barker's pocket. It was just kind of strange. Like he was like, "Reach into my pocket, beautiful lady." Like it was just like weird. Like I was like, "What is this? This feels bad. Feels strange."
For a woman to put her hand in a man's pocket so he can get a bit of a boner. Oh my god.
It's just kind of strange. Like you could just tell there was like the men aren't doing it. Like what is the deal here? Yeah.
He wanted listen, honey, Bob Parker wanted a boner. Okay, from a hot lady
in his pocket. Yeah.
He's definitely getting a boner, like a real hard dick on, you know.
I want one on the, you know, camera. Like I feel like the camera, if it like adds pounds, it would like exaggerate the boner.
Yeah, like you'd see like his pants like just have like a little like Like,
Bob Barker's boner. That's what you brought up, sir.
I mean, you brought up.
No, I brought up the pocket. You brought up a boner.
Okay, well, I brought it up because you said that he was telling ladies. He was telling ladies to put his hand in his pocket. What do you think he was trying to do? Okay, just give them a fucking $100? No, he was a man from the older generation. Okay,
yeah, it was definitely like that. That was strange, and they would always be like, "Oh, I guess I'll reach in there and get that $100," and it's like, holy fuck, I'd reach in there. Like, I would reach in an actual creepy person's pocket for $100.
Wow,
you know?
This is a lot about your character, Karissa.
I mean, I'd get out of there as soon as I got my money.
Oh, for sure. I mean, like, before the boner is about to, like, flip, you know?
I'm smart.
Right. You like, it's a quickie. You know, you just, like, put the hand in the pocket, you pull out the 100, like, right before the dick gets hard and, like, pops, you know? I mean, like, sometimes they're so fucking old, like, you got, like, a little bit of a minute before it happens.
Oh, wow. I feel like I feel like he's probably got, like, the medicine or whatever, you know?
Yeah, like the Viagra, like, fucking pumping through his veins at, like, 8 o'clock in the morning, you know? He's like, hey, nurse, shoot me up.
Cialis.
Yeah, like, honey, some of those guys, like, they gotta shoot themselves up. Like, they don't even have any fucking brain cells left to, like, survive.
I feel kind of bad, like, saying things like that about boners because, like, I don't have a dick, and so, like, I don't know what it's like. Like, I feel like it's probably, like, the equivalent
I have one.
to how I'll feel, like, when I can't,
I have a
like,
penis.
make a baby anymore is probably how guys feel when their dick can't get hard anymore.
You mean their penis?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is definitely hard. You know, I can imagine for some guys, it's like they want to pleasure a woman or man or whatever people fuck these days. And it could be it could be a difficult task. I can say honestly though, like, all jokes aside, it was a different time. Like, to the point in those days, like, having mental health issues was like, suck it up and take a fucking lollipop and put it in your mouth, you know? It wasn't until, like, later on that, like, people started learning, like, better safety precautions and things of that. So...
Whoa.
But anyway, we've been talking for over an hour. I think we're both exhausted, and I think we both want to get the fuck out of here.
Well, my microphone wants to fall over.
I see. Well,
if you'd like to donate money to the podcast so that I don't have to have these weird technical difficulties anymore, feel free.
We don't have a donation area, but you could definitely shoot us an email.
We could change that. We can make a donation area.
Yeah, we can make a GoFundMe. Oh my god, we can make a GoFundMe. Definitely an idea for 2024. So we're going to put that out there. Anyway, if you want to find Karissa, she's at American Groove Pod. And if you want to check out Lost in the Groove, you can find us at Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Lost in the Groove Pod. We love y'all, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, sure, whatever. Fuck these cocksuckers.
Hey.